And
let me just close that off.
Live, and we have some viewers. Excellent. Thank you for joining us. I believe we have some viewers. Apologies in advance. We are using new software this morning. So
awesome.
exciting. Because Facebook in Australia does not let us do this kind of talk show thing that we're doing now. So, but this software does. So a bit excited, but we are trialing it. So apologies in advance if we totally stuff things up. And or if we go a bit slow and pause, because we are learning as we do. So, and I don't even know where I'm supposed to be looking to look at the camera, so I'll make eye contact with you all. So,
you're looking straight at me now.
So I'm looking at you. So if you are viewing live today, then please say hello. Let us know. I can see that we've got some viewers there, but let us know you're there. Say hello. Introduce yourself. Where are you? What fur babies do you have? We would love to know that.
Yes.
And because, it's always good. Are we talking to cat lovers or dog lovers, or are we talking to, all animal lovers?
Of course we are.
Yeah, of course we are. Well, I would hope so, because, on my page, we've got it. Hi, Kim. Thank you for joining. Thank you for saying hi. Did you get my Christmas card? I hope you got my Christmas card. Kim is a previous client of mine, and worked with her a long time ago with her dog Jenkins. And yeah, that was amazing. So thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I can hear talking. Yes, you did. Excellent. I'm glad Australia Post got the card to you, Kim. That's great. My first time doing it, so it's a bit of trial and error. I hope I'm not revealing my underwear here. Goodness me.
No.
So
you're all
we have I have for you today Bianca, and apologies, Bianca, because I'm not good with saying foreign names or non-English names.
Okay.
Let's be politically correct at the same time too. Bianca de Reus.
Give it a go. Good.
Yes. That is our special guest today. And Bianca is here because Bianca and I have teamed up on my, well, it was a Christmas special, but Christmas is over, but the special is still available till the end of the year. And so Bianca and I have joined up to create a program that is really going to see your pets getting on track to achieving optimum wellness as quickly as possible, but not too quickly, because we don't want to. My approach is slow and gentle, but we're going to be talking about why Bianca and I have teamed up in this live today. So we're going to be talking about what animal communication is, and I'm just going to check my notes. We're going to be talking about how does animal communication help animals and the animals humans. We're going to be talking about the main issues that arise in animal communication sessions that Bianca does. And we're also then going to be talking about why we have incorporated an animal communication session in one of my nutritional therapy programs. So that's what we've got covered today. I don't know how long this is going to take, because Bianca and I do get quite chatty. If you've got questions, please put them in the comments below. Well, they're below below. They will be below to you too. I will keep an eye on there. And also, as I said, for those of you, I know you were there when I said this, who is viewing but haven't introduced yourself, please do so. Let us know what fur babies you have. Because it's great just to have the interaction. And if you are not watching this live, please still do that. Please still say, hi, my name's so-and-so. I have a cat and 3 dogs, and I live in New York or wherever. It doesn't really matter. And for those of you who are attending live, you are going to get the chance to win a $100 gift voucher off the Animal Wellness 2019 program. So we will be selecting that person randomly but give you a tip. You probably need to stay for the whole broadcast. I don't want you to just pop in and get your chance to win and then skedaddle. We want you to enjoy the live video that we're doing today and get as much benefit as possible. So hello, Kathy. Kathy has 4 cats. Yes, cat lady, crazy cat lady. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you here, fellow crazy cat lady. And yeah, so Bianca, let's get started with you because you are one of the main reasons why we are here today. I want to, before we get into delve into the really, really deep diving questions, juicy bits, yes. Sorry, I'm still recovering from Christmas. I had a Christmas hangover yesterday, but I'm all good today. I was in bed for 10 hours last night. I was exhausted because I don't normally drink, and I drank a bottle of wine. And I don't normally eat such sugary things, and I ate quite a few sugary things. So my body was just a bit yesterday, but all good today. So Bianca, I'm sure all these lovely people here don't really care to listen about my Christmas hangover. That's not why we're here. Please tell us a bit about you.
Wow. Okay. A little bit about me. Well, today is a very, very sunny day here in Sydney. It's really hot, so I do apologize. I've got my big water bottle here. I am originally from the Netherlands, and I moved to Australia about 22 years ago. Have worked most of my working career in corporate, and in the meantime, my spiritual ability started to develop, and being very practical and analytical, that was a bit of a brain twister to learn about, everything around energy and how we are made out of energy as well, and how we respond to energy and what all that does. So probably around 2006-07 is when I started learning around Reiki healing, which is energy healing applied by the hands. And always had been involved and had animals around me as well. So I grew up with dogs and birds and being around horses and things like that. And having had my own dogs as well, it was always really interesting to figure out what are they thinking, because like you may have cats, dogs, horses look at you sometimes where you think, what are you thinking? How are you feeling? What's going on? And I had exactly the same thing. Until about 7 years ago, I went on a bushwalk with a friend of mine. And during that walk, I was approached by a snake who asked me if I could hear him. And I needed to go out into the world and do my job, which happened to be quite different to the corporate finance industry that I was in at the time. So, and that started my journey of connecting with animals at a very intuitive, energetic, and telepathic level. So I learned about animal communication, what it's like to really listen to them, and applying all the different abilities that I was learning to really communicate with the animals so that we can understand them and actually really know what goes on for them so that we can help them in a very different way. And so that's when my journey started. And about 3.5 years ago, I was made redundant from the corporate industry. And I literally thought, okay, this is it. What do I do now? And jumped off the cliff, and yeah, here we are. So it's been an epic journey, to say the least, ever since. It's been a lot of fun learning about all the animals, the different types of animals that I'm connecting with. They have enormous amounts of wisdom to share with us, and we can certainly learn a lot from them. And I'm sure you as well, Ruth, by working with them, you probably intuitively know what goes on for the animals as well. And I know that you also apply energy and Reiki healing. So you may also experience already, what goes on for them. And it's just a really beautiful process. And to be able to help them and be their voice is amazing. And they are so grateful for having people like myself and you to be able to translate that information to the human guardians that they have around them, so that we can certainly benefit each other in our lives as well.
Yeah, because we do speak in different languages. We speak in
Yes.
English, or, if you're a non-English person, I mean, I hope you understand English, otherwise you won't understand what we're saying. Because I haven't put subtitles on this. But, we do speak in different languages. And so having that ability to communicate with them, whether it's, telepathically, energetically, taking notice of their body language, for someone who isn't an animal communicator, you would already be able to communicate with your pet because you live with them 24/7, and you get to understand their body language, their tone of their voice. Like if we've got Kathy here with her 4 cats. Raylene's come on, she has dogs and cows and horses. Wow. But using the cat example, when a cat meows, a cat has a different meow as to when she's hungry, when she wants to be let out. Elvie this morning, because I bought some new lemongrass the other day. My cats love lemongrass. They love it. And I have put it up high so they can't eat it all the time and then come in and vomit on the carpet from overdosing on lemongrass. But, Elvie has this specific lemongrass meow. He's looking at the lemongrass, and it is a different meow. And it's like, I know you want the lemongrass, but I'm about to feed you and I don't want you vomiting up your breakfast. But yeah, it's knowing that without having the, specific animal communication skills or being able to tap into that, we still, every person has that ability to communicate, even if it's simply by paying attention to body language, and tones of voice and things like that. So, and I also totally get where you come from in terms of being in the corporate sector and getting pulled into this world of helping animals and working on such a different level than being all masculine and assertive and what have you in the corporate sector, and then softening and getting opportunities to spend your time with such peaceful, calm beings that animals generally are. So unless they're not feeling well, then it might be a different story. But generally, their nature is naturally very gentle. So thank you for telling us a bit about your history, because it's an interesting one. The redundancy, probably not at the time, but I'd say it was definitely a blessing in disguise. Yes. It allowed you to step up and do this work. So nice.
Absolutely. Yes.
So can you spoke about, and I know your story. You spoke about the first conversation you had with the snake. Which I find so interesting, particularly that it was a snake and not a cat or a dog. Like I guess a snake would be more of a shock, I think. But what exactly is animal communication? Like, how does a session work? Like, how do you do it? How do you communicate with animals?
Well, there's different ways to do it, and it all sort of depends on the way that people actually receive information, first and foremost. In my experience, for me personally, I connect with the animals by tuning into myself first. So it's literally a heart-to-heart connection. It's a soul-to-soul connection. And when I do that myself, I hear their voice first, and I sense a lot of what they are feeling. So for me, the sensing and the hearing are two of the abilities that are immediately activated so that I can start having that conversation flow going. Now, for some people, that might not be the case. They may actually see what the animal is experiencing, because animals can send us sound, words, pictures, feelings, colors. Anywhere in between that, they can provide us with that information because they want to make sure that we get the message across, that they get the message across in the right way so that we can understand it. And what you said before around the language, it's not that they speak English. It's not that they speak German or Dutch or Indian or whatever language that is. They have their own language, but somehow in the ether, it's translated so that we can understand what they are saying. Because I always say to people, who is to say that we are actually speaking English? we've given it a name. Somehow we are connecting. We are on the same wavelength, and we're talking, and it's translated in a way that we can understand each other. But it might be something completely different, right? So, and I experience the same when connecting with animals. And I've heard my clients have been experiencing similar things. They receive the information in the best way they can understand it. And whether that's through images, sound, music, feeling, to the point where you may experience the actual sensation in your body of what the animal is experiencing. So in that way, it makes it easier for us to understand. But first and foremost, to connect soul to soul, heart to heart, asking the permission if it's okay to have a conversation, because it's almost like you're knocking on someone's door and saying, can I please come in and have a chat? You don't just barge in and do this. And that's also the sign of respect for them as well.
Would that apply even with your own pet? So, for example, if you're living in a home with humans, you don't say, "Hey, Bianca, I mean, sometimes you would say, "Hey, Bianca, can I talk to you right now?" You might just say, "Hey, Bianca, do we have enough broccoli for dinner tonight or something?" Right? I wouldn't say, hey, Bianca, can I speak to you? So I'm thinking in the same way, if we're living with our pets, does every time we want to connect with them, do we need to ask that permission? Or is it more about, we live together, so there is that certain level of permission already given that we are free to talk to one another? We don't have to go through the whole ritual of asking permission first.
Exactly. Yeah. No, definitely, because they're part of your family. So I treat my dogs exactly the same. And you just have that ongoing conversation. Now, my Rosie, for example, you would always indicate to me whether she was in the mood to talk or not. Whereas Toby was always, just ongoing. Whereas Rosie sometimes said, hey, I'm not in the mood. I just want to lay down and do whatever I want, and I don't want to engage in conversation. And that was fine too. So it's the animals that you've never connected with that you would ask permission to do so, because you are a stranger coming in. And for me, dealing with so many different kinds of animals, it's literally that, because they've never met me before. They don't know exactly what is going to happen. So to establish that first and explain to them, this is what we're going to be doing. Is that okay? Would you be open to have this conversation, however you want to word it? And the immediate response comes back at you. And you always come in with unconditional love and no expectation of what's going to happen. Because when I teach people as well, they have this expectation. They go in and they go, okay, I'm going to talk to my cat or my horse, and I'm going to have this amazing conversation. They're going to tell me everything I want to know. But if you go in with that, you're already expecting certain things to happen, and that can block that connection. So when we come in without that and just come in with free flow and say, I just want to have a chat, let's have a conversation, let's get to know each other, I want to find out how you're going, and have that sort of open floor, that really allows that information flow to come through a lot easier than when we go in with, I really want to know this, or I really want to know that, and I need you to answer this. Because that sometimes comes through because we have our own needs and wants that we want to learn from the animal. But it's not about that.
It can be very challenging because as a human companion to our, fur babies, whether they are cats, dogs, horses, chicken, cows, what have you, we're coming from a place that we hope they're okay. And so, it can be difficult to step away. It's difficult for me to step away from the humanness, right, and the caretaker, and wanting to make sure that everything is well, that I'm giving them everything they need, to be able to sit back and just be like, I guess it's about being in the now and just sitting there and saying, hey, here I am.
Exactly.
Get centered however you might get centered, whether, if you do meditation, and I'll just put it out there. I struggle with meditation to the audience. It's challenging. It's challenging for me to still my mind, monkey mind. But you know, whatever you need to do to be quiet within yourself and to just sit there and say, hey, I'm here, you know, let's have a chat, and whatever comes up. And I also think, you know, it's really interesting. Obviously, the way that you communicate with animals is through hearing. Correct me if I get this wrong. Hearing,
well, it's my primary,
but also seeing, hearing and seeing. So that means
I mean, all of these come into play, you know. So the primary ones that I personally have are the seeing and the sensing.
So when you're seeing and sensing, okay, but you also hear, and I'm really interested in this because with my animals, I'm like, I know what their meows and their barks and their growls sound like, but what do their voices sound like? So you get to hear that.
Yes, very different. So it's actually really interesting because we all,
Bianca, to the audience, Bianca has communicated with all of my animals, and so she's privy to hearing what they sound like. And I actually, and I will also stop there and say, everyone that you're on there, this is you know, this is a free flowing chat. I'd love for you, if you have questions, please don't just rely on me asking all the questions to give you the answers that you're looking for, because I'm kind of coming in to get as much information as I can out of Bianca as well, but also then trying to think, how can I ask the questions to help you guys? So if you have any questions, please put your questions in the comments and we will look at those and answer those. But so Bianca has communicated with all of my animals, and, you know, I'd love to, let's give an example here. Elvie, you know, because I think Elvie is probably the animal who I speak about the most, because he is around me the most. He allows me to take photos and videos the most, so he is the most present on my social media. But so what is he's mostly very, very chatty. Even just cat chat, not chatting with a communicator, but meowing, chatting. And his meow, he has quite a kitteny, high pitched meow. It's not like a deep, and he's a big cat, but he has such a gentle, sweet meow. So it'd be interesting to know what does his voice when you communicate with him sound like.
It's actually interesting because his voice is very excited, but at the same time, it's almost like a look at me type energy that brings the voice through as well. So he loves to be the center of attention at the same time. And Elvie's voice, it's not the low pitch sort of masculine voice that I'm hearing from him. It's almost the sort of in the middle, but having that majestic, almost proud sound to it.
Well, that is Elvie.
Whereas other animals can really, I mean, it's really fascinating because it's almost like my voice, but it's translated into their voice somehow. I don't know how to explain it, but you sort of hear it in your head through the auditory, like energetic ears, so to speak. And animals usually show me and get me to hear what their personality is like. And that's how I can describe it. So I had one cat a few years ago, and he actually showed, and I said to the cat, I go, what is your personality like? And he goes, well, I'm a bit of a prankster, a bit of a joker. And I go, well, can you show me? And he goes, yes, of course. And he showed me the image of Puss in Boots from the movie Shrek. And I just cracked up laughing, you know, because they've got a really good sense of humor. But to me, that really resonated because while I was talking to him, that image really matched how he was communicating with me and, you know, the humor that he put into the conversation as well. So like us, every animal has a different personality and they have their own way of doing things, you know, and that's really beautiful because they are a soul in a physical body, you know, and it's the same for us. We are a soul in a physical body. So animals are exactly the same in that sense. So it's really beautiful to understand what their personalities are like. And that helps us to really engage with them and to adjust how we show up for them so that we have the best relationship. And it goes human to human and human to animal. You know what I mean? It's exactly the same. So
connecting at the soul level.
You are who you are, but you need to adjust your communication to have a different experience being together with someone. You know what I mean? So you don't change yourself, but it's how you communicate to them. And that's exactly with animals too.
And it's the same even human to human communication. Like you might be different. You might be speaking to one person and you're speaking with that person very differently to how you might speak to another person. Or it might just be you take on a different tone. And I guess a really clear example would be the way that some people will speak to children as opposed to adults. And generally when you're speaking to children, your voice does change. And your words change because you're thinking, okay, I'm speaking to a child. They're not necessarily going to understand a complicated word. Your language changes, your tone of voice changes, depending on who you're speaking to. But interestingly, you use the pussing. So this cat gave you the image of the Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Now, elephant in the room, maybe, how would a cat know about Puss in Boots?
They can really tap into our energies. They can really tap into our experience in this lifetime. So I don't know exactly how. I'm still trying to figure that one out, but that's my analytical mind going sometimes. And that can get me into trouble because when my analytical mind kicks in, it's like, oh my God, I haven't got a clear communication here. But that's, having been in finance for so many years, that's just how my mind works. It's almost like you need to prove this with facts and I need to see it or touch it or whatever it is, right? So I need to then make sure that I put that on the sideline and go, okay, just let this flow. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. Now, I do know that animals can tap into our energy and they know exactly per person, per soul, what the experience has been like in this world for us. So they know the level of our knowledge. They know what we are doing. They know how we behave. And because they also vibrate at a much higher energy level than we do, they have often, because we have all this stuff happening, right? We are human as well. So we have different beliefs and values and experiences, and that obviously adds to who we are as a person, but it may also block or cloud our vision and our experience. Animals don't have that. They're really in the moment right now. They don't have all these preconceived ideas and values and beliefs and all this sort of stuff. So they can tap into a higher energy.
So why is that though? Is that simply because they are at a higher vibrational level than we are? They're not in a human body. They're in a cat body or a dog body or a horse body or raccoon or whatever you want it, whatever animal.
Yes. They are so extremely grounded, but at the same time, they live so much in the now. They don't look back and they don't look too far into the future either. At the same time, they have their energy really open. They're always connected. They always use the connection that they have with all that is, plus being so extremely present in their body to experience life on Earth. They really have that non-judgmental, open connection all the time. And they look at us going, what are you doing? Don't you see what you need to be doing? So let me tell you what you need to be doing.
And it's see that you don't need to be an animal communicator to witness that by monitoring or not monitoring, observing your own animals and seeing they are so in the now. Like right now, okay, I have Lily here lying on the ground next to me, just like zoning out, sleeping. Yes. I'm sure Max is in the wardrobe where he always likes to be. But they're just, I'm feeling tired, I'm going to sleep, or I'm going to go play now, I'm going to play. Yeah. It's not about what I should, I guess they might go into the future when they're starting to feel hungry, and they have gotten used to the routine and they know it's dinner time. They might be a bit forward thinking there, but they are in the now, and they're also good teachers for us to learn about being more in that now and not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. So
absolutely, yes.
yes,
And because they are so observant and they can tap into our energy without that judgment, because that's what we usually come into a relationship with, right? No matter what relationship that is, we always have some ideas around how it should look or how we need to experience it. On top of that, we've learned certain things in our lives from other people and our parents and experiences. And then we have society that comes into play as well. Animals don't have all that stuff. They just are who they are, and they're just in that moment. And therefore, they are our greatest teachers in that sense. They show us how to be and just not do anything else and just be in that present moment. And cats are a perfect example of that.
Yes.
Horses are even better at that,
Yeah.
And dogs, they're really loyal and humble at the same time, and they have a wealth of information, but they're often misunderstood in that sense as well. Cats, we always say cats are very selfish and all this sort of stuff, but what I've experienced with them is that they actually have a bit of a right to be like that as well. They often come from what I call the higher realms of being. And most of the time they show me that they come from Egyptian times, and they're linked to that higher level of knowledge and wisdom, And I've had cats tell me, I don't want to connect right now. I'm not ready. Okay, so I'll come back later. Whereas dogs, they're just always open. They're always happy to have a chat and, let's come in. It's very, very rare that a dog will tell me, I'm not ready right now, because they know that their human parents are ready to have a conversation and to know what needs to be done. Now, horses are, that in my experience, on a completely different plane. They're in a completely different sphere. To me, they are master healers. They are master teachers. They have an enormous amount of wisdom and healing power. You can see it now as well. This day and age, there's more horses being asked to join healing circles, and people are working with horses in leadership and, all this sort of stuff as well. And they love doing that work too. They love helping us, and they love to see us transform and heal and to become more of the being that we are rather than the human, even though we need the human side to be here, but they love us to be more a being than the human, which is amazing. Taps into a completely different conversation, but
I know, right? I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I'm sure we could speak about this for hours, but I mean,
definitely.
The differences between species of animals with respect to their role spiritually, I guess, and their experiences and why they're here and what they're here to do with us and what have you. That's a whole other level. That's a whole other conversation. But I mean, it's I love talking about this stuff, and I'm sure some of the viewers, I've seen people pop in and pop out, and I know there are definitely some there who are very right on track with this in the same way that we are. But bringing it back to animal communication, how does when you're working with clients, in your experience, how does animal communication help animals as well as their humans?
It helps in a way that we know what we can do for them, and it gives us clarity on what they are experiencing with us. It helps the animals because they can tell us how they feel. They can tell us what they really experience. And it puts us in a more powerful position to be able to know what we can do for them. So not only do they give us the information around, I might have some aches and pains here, or, one of the other common ones is around nutrition. That's probably the biggest complaint I get from animals, is how we feed them. But it really helps us to understand what is right for them. What can we do so that they have a better experience? What can we do so that we both have a better experience being together in this household as a member of the family, right? So I even dare to say that sometimes you may even save some cost on veterinary treatments, because sometimes we may not need that. It might be a tummy upset, or it might be something that we can change that then changes the behavior of an animal as well. So it helps us to get a full picture, for us to have that clarity and have a deeper connection with them, so that we know exactly this is how we can both show up, and this is what we can do for each other. Animal behavior sometimes shifts because of the things that we do around them. Those are some of the things that I've experienced too. Nutrition is a big issue for animals because they don't get the right foods. And that may be because we don't have the right knowledge of what to feed them.
Yep.
We may not have done the research, or maybe we have learned that is the right way to do it. Then we have the commercialism coming into place, because we are being thrown, like, it's the same for human nutrition as well. All this processed stuff is being thrown at us, right? And it makes it easier. Vitamins, minerals, any of that stuff is sometimes missing in their bodies as well.
And I will just say, with the vitamins and minerals, we've done so through the program that I'm offering at the moment. We had with someone who signed up last week. So Bianca has already done the communication session part of that program, and there were some issues highlighted there with nutrition. And the way the program is set up is that the animal communication session happens before I have the nutrition consult. So what it essentially does is it means that we're getting that additional insight, right? We're not just flying, we're not flying blind. I mean, when I'm working with animals, I don't fly blind. I pay attention to what the humans say about what they have witnessed the animal to experience. I'm not a vet, I don't diagnose. So if there is something wrong, I'll always encourage people to go and get that diagnosis first. But, sometimes the diagnosis can be off. So I guess with the animal communication, it's, it does give us that additional insight. It allows us to be able to pinpoint at a finer level where the attention needs to go. Exactly. I mean, as an animal naturopath, I work from a holistic approach. So I don't just look at what the symptoms are, but, we'll look at the whole body, look at the whole, the environment, the lifestyle, and everything in terms of treating an animal. But, starting off with, if we know straight up, we'll just say, for example, there are these mineral deficiencies, then I know straight from the get-go, I need to focus on those mineral deficiencies, as opposed to just going, okay, well, we're going to improve the diet by making these changes, which are going to give, a high level of nutrients that can be absorbed by the animal. And then you would think that they're going to get, those missing minerals that you've picked up in your session. But it may be that you might even get down to more specifics, or it might be that something that you that hear through that conversation that you're able to tell the client and me as the animal naturopath, we might putting those pieces together to really drill down and work out exactly what it is that this animal needs. Exactly. And so it's so beneficial. I love having that additional insight when I'm working with animals, because we've got the body language, we've got the symptoms, we've got all of that. We might have a veterinary diagnosis as well, but then getting that actual, if we were sitting down with a person, the person would say, I have a sore stomach, or it hurts when I do this, or I feel tired. I mean, you can kind of guess when an animal is tired by their body language, but it's not concrete, so to speak.
No.
So yeah, it's having that additional insight is really beneficial. I just want to stop there and say that for me, because obviously the gift that we're giving for those who are viewing the live today is $100 voucher off the animal wellness program. But I'm just wondering I see the number of viewers now, but I don't know if I'm going to get a listing of who is viewing. And I want to make sure that everyone who's viewing is in the running to win the prize. So, if you could please, even if it's just a matter of saying hi, I can see now I've got one, two, three, 4, but then there's 7 people currently viewing, and before there was 8. So what that means is I'm only going to know that there's 4 of you to be able to pick the random winner. So even if you're shy and you don't want to let anyone know you're here, I've also got reactions. I can see all of the reactions. But if you could please, if you want the chance to win this voucher, please just say hi, so I've got your name there, so I can randomly pull out the winner afterwards. So I might have put in a comment as well for those people who are coming in after I've said that. For everyone viewing live, please say hi so that we know you're here and you can go in the running for the $100 voucher.
I'm just reading through Trish Willing's comment here. Thank you so much, Trish. I'm really grateful that you enjoyed the summit as well. It's good to have you here. You're trying to communicate with Zach, and visits to the vet are more regular. He's 17. Yeah, that's another area as well where animal communication can be quite beneficial, is when animals are ready to leave the earth plane, as I call it, or crossing the rainbow bridge, as many people would like to call it. It really helps to understand when they're ready, what their final messages are for us, and what we can do to make that transition as comfortable and smooth as possible. So it's really a sad time for everybody involved, not just for us, but also for the animals that are leaving us as well. So thank you, Trish, for highlighting that. And I'm sending you so much love and healing for this difficult period. What I can suggest is to be with Zach as much as you can. And even though you may not hear what he's telling you, just be quiet with him and be with him. Maybe, lay your hand on his body to feel how he feels and tune in at that level. You will understand what he's telling you, and you will understand how you can best support him with that transition. Because I know that animals are finding it really difficult to leave us at times as well. They often know where they're going. They often know when they're going. When I tune into an animal that's passing over, I can see where they're going. I can see who's waiting for them. Sometimes they even tell me what they're going to be doing in the afterlife as well. I know when they've crossed over. They've told me that it is a happy place where they go. They are without pain, and we know this at a conscious level. We know this. However, animals can experience the same pain that we do. They are absolutely grieving before they transition, because they often feel really sad that they're leaving us. And sometimes they don't want to, even though they know I'm going to a happy place where I am with my other soulmates and without pain or anything else like that. But yes, I would really love to advise you to just be with him as much as you can. And I'm sending you all my love with that transition.
And Trish is a previous client of mine. We worked together some years ago, and so I've met Zach, and Zach is so beautiful, and it's amazing that he's still around. Like you can see the love between you can see the love between Trish and Zach. They connected at such a great level. And Trish, I know that you have an ability to connect with him, because I've seen it, and also speaking with you since the time that we worked together, know that you have that ability to connect with him. So I'm confident that you're getting the messages that he wants to get to you, and he knows that you love him so much. And he is such a darling. He was one of my gosh, when was that? It was like 2016 that we worked together, so it was quite a long time ago. But yeah, he's reach out if you need anything. But yeah, sending just with Bianca as well, sending you big love, and later on today I'll send through some Reiki as well if you would like me to do that. I'm sure Bianca will be happy to as well, so we get double whammy of Reiki there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, just
Sure.
let us know, Trish, whether it's via comment on this or send me a private message. That'll be fine. Yes. So I think we've already really touched on this through the last question that I asked you about what are the main issues that arise when you chat with a cat or dog. And let's, it's not just cats or dogs. I mean, I only work with cats and dogs at the moment, I guess, with respect to nutrition. But with Reiki, it's every animal, and it would be the same with you also. And, Railing's here with her farm of animals.
Yes.
So I guess what are the you mentioned nutrition as being one of the main issues. What would you say is another issue?
Behavioral changes.
Yeah.
Behavioral changes, the not knowing whether an animal may be in pain. So they can see that there is a discomfort, but what is the level of pain and where is it coming from? So those are usually the things that come to mind when people actually connect with me. And most of the time, it's almost like I'm the last resort for them. I've been to the vet, I've been to an animal behaviorist, I've been to a dog trainer, I've been to a horse trainer, I've done this, that, and the other. You're my final call. I need to know, what's going on. I'm going to do something completely outrageous that's not common. So I'm going to connect with an animal communicator and find out what's really going on. I'm here to shift that, because I would love to be the first point of contact. I would love other animal communicators to be the first point of contact, because you can save a lot of stress and pressures by connecting with an animal communicator first, because
and
then
money.
You can really tap into and money. Absolutely. Yes. Don't even talk about that. It's like, like Ruth said, we cannot diagnose. We don't have a medical degree to be able to diagnose. However, we can find out what exactly is the pain level, where does it come from, how intense is it. I can sense inflammation. I can sense a mass. I can sense, what the pain is, where it comes from, the level of it. I can feel it in my body, where it sits, and it starts to hurt wherever the animal experiences it. That's where I'm feeling it too. So it can certainly help that. And the animal will tell me, I need to go to a vet, or I want to see a dog trainer, or I want to do something completely different, or I need to go and see a Ruth because she can help me and help my human with nutrition, So, and it's great for us to have a team around, so that you, as the animal lover, know where to tap into to actually have all these different people around to help your animal at that level as well, because we do need to look at it from a holistic point of view. And sometimes a dog trainer or a vet may not be needed. That might be way too far-fetched. It might be something that we do. In animal behavior, for example, I've seen most of the time the animal changes their behavior because we are doing something that we need to pay attention to. And the only way for us to then pay attention is for the animal to change their behavior, so that we go, hang on a minute, what's just changed? You all of a sudden become too quiet, or you start to talk a lot, or all of a sudden my dog starts barking, or all of a sudden my cat becomes more aggressive. Because then we pay attention, right? Because we pay attention to the external world first. And animals know that. Okay, so if I change my behavior, my human will then start to think, something has shifted, we need to do something about this. So then when an animal communicator comes in, they can ask the animal, what is going on? Why has your behavior changed? What has shifted in the last however long the period is? And then they can tell us. I've even had a cat that became very aggressive from being always quite mellow and relaxed, and she was always just really chilled around people. And all of a sudden she became more aggressive and avoiding people bar one person in the household. And that was because the person came home from work, started drinking, hitting the bottle, and became a different person. So the cat thought that needs to stop because the whole family is affected by that behavior. So the cat became a little bit more aggressive. They paid attention. I found out what was going on. They changed their behavior and the cat became normal again. So what we do has a massive impact on how the animals experience living with us, what we do to them in terms of nutrition and how we interact with them, how we teach them things, has a big impact, not only for the animals, but for us as well. And I believe, it's the same when we raise children. Whatever we do has a big impact on their life. And the same goes for the animals as well. So it's 9 out of 10 times I end up working with the humans to see what we can shift in their life, so that everybody has a much better experience and a deeper relationship and a deeper way of connecting and, having better communication. I think that's what it comes down to, and it is, for me, it goes deeper than that. For me, I teach people soul to soul connection, not just communication. So it's absolutely everybody on board. It's teamwork with, yourself, the family, and the animal. The other thing is as well that people ask me, do you need to be around my animal when you do this work? Now, I don't know about you, Ruth. Do you always need to be with the animal when you do consults?
Depends what I'm doing. So with the nutritional therapy, I will either be in the person's home, and seeing the animal and connecting with the animal, or I will be online face to face over conferencing programs, and I'll chat to the animal through that. But with Reiki, so with the energy healing, it depends. I had a Reiki session with a dog, Pippa, the other day, and the humans were there, and they were just like, what are we going to do? Is it awkward for us to be around? I said, yeah, it is a bit awkward for me because I feel like I'm being watched, and I need to focus on I need to get into the space I need to be in to, access the energy and to channel the energy through. And I just said, hey, if you want to take advantage of the energy that's going to be in the room, why don't you lie down, close your eyes and just enjoy it. So they can stay in the room. Yeah. But I know they're not like watching at me because they're curious about what I'm going to be doing, right? And just, and then also, with animals, you can't just say to them, hey, buddy, I'm going to give you some Reiki, so could you just lie down in this position and just, stay there and not say anything. No. Because, so, the first about 10 minutes or so is really getting the animal to settle down and just go, okay, it's all right, I can just lay down and chill now. And then they lay down and chill, and then I'm able to, I'm sending Reiki the entire time. But once they've, zenned out a bit and they're relaxed, then I can just, I forgot your question now. I can just
Whether to
do the work.
I
remember the question now. But when I'm doing it remotely, there are no distractions for me. I'm not distracted by the humans in the space. I'm not distracted by the animal, going here, there, and everywhere. I'm confident that the animal will still receive the energy. And so I can just focus on, sending that energy to the animal without any distractions whatsoever. And it's interesting, what you were saying before about getting, hearing things, sometimes you feel like you're going a bit crazy, like you're just talking to yourself, what have you. But hearing getting these messages through, and it's like, okay. And then telling the humans, this is what came through for me. I don't know if it means anything to you. And again, you might get that whether, I'm hands-on physical space with the animal or, but I do find that I get that more from doing it remotely because I literally have no distractions.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes for the animals, it's easier as well for us to do it remotely because we're not directly in their space.
Yeah, I've got animals
if they have never experienced it.
Yeah, I've got animals who don't want to be touched. And, Pippa on Saturday, she, for the moment, one of the owners said, yeah, she loves being touched. So I was like, cool, I'll start with hands-on. But she was too playful. She was just ready to play. She wasn't ready to be hands-on receiving energy. Then I thought, okay, well, I left hands off for most of it until she had really settled down, and then I very, very gently essentially test it out by placing my hands gently on her to see her reaction, and she was fine with it. But yeah, just knowing that she's going to receive the energy anyway. I don't need to have my hands on her because of the way that Reiki works. It depends. It depends on each individual animal, and it'll be the same when you're communicating with animals as to, you know, the ability of the connection, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And not needing to be there.
Sometimes with behavioral challenges, it might be easier to be physically in the home because you can sense other energies around that may impact that behavior. But then the humans already know that something is not right in the whole environment. However, in saying that, it is actually easier as well to sense that from a distance. And on occasion, I've even experienced that the animal can absorb, like we almost merge energies. And I can see through the eyes of the animal, and they can show me around their home, and I can describe the house and feel what they feel in the house. So that can help as well. Most of the work that I do is done remotely. It is done online, and I'm really grateful for that because that means I can reach a whole, a larger community of people and animals, which is awesome stuff. But sometimes in the home, it is, I've experienced some animals are quite taken aback because I tune in before I arrive at the house and ask permission if it's okay to come to the house. But the humans forget to do that. They forget to tell the animal, someone's coming to the house to work with you. Are you okay with that? I'm just sharing with you that I've hired someone and we're going to work together. And, so even those little things can help a lot.
Because most of my clients, when I'm going to see them for, whether it's for nutritional therapy or bodywork therapy, not seeing them, seeing their animals, then I often find that they have already said, and maybe it's just the kind of people that I attract to me, but they've already, the animals already know I'm coming because, the humans have said, hey, Louie, Ruth's coming to help us and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. And, you can, which is great.
Fantastic. Yeah. I usually mention it to people as well to let them know what's going on. And not just that. It's every single day. Talk to your animals. They're part of your family. Talk to them what you are doing. Even if you leave the house for 5 minutes, let them know that you're coming back in 5 minutes. If you go away on holidays, let them know where you're going. Let them know if they go to a kennel or someone comes to the house and babysits them. Let them know everything that you do because it makes them more comfortable. And in particular, when you have animals that have been rescued, it makes them feel that you are coming back if you leave the house, even if it's going to work or to see a mate for a coffee or whatever that is, right? We need to make sure that we have those communication lines open all the time to them, no matter what. And it doesn't matter whether you have a dog or a bird or a guinea pig or a rabbit. Just talk to them. They're part of the family and they love that. They really love that interaction.
And don't worry about if your neighbours hear you and think you're going crazy because you're talking to
who cares?
I'm constantly talking in my apartment. I'm sure neighbours walking by must be like, who's she talking to? No, exactly. I'm talking to my cats. Okay, so let's switch it up a bit here because we've been speaking for some time, which, I did warn everybody. Awesome. I want to talk briefly about the Animal Wellness 2019 program that Bianca is contributing to. And for those of you who don't know the Animal Wellness program, I'll put the link in the comments below. It's essentially a nutritional program that I've created to welcome in the new year and really to help people get started with helping their animals to achieve optimal wellness in 2019. It's not, I don't offer a package like this one. I have created it especially for this time of year. It includes bits and pieces from different programs plus a number of bonuses. So you get, you fill out a questionnaire first, which gives me the full holistic history of the animal. You get a 90-minute consult if you're in Brisbane, Ipswich. I also travel to Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast. Then I come to see you face-to-face for that first 90-minute consult, and we really drill down into what's going on. I have some other questions from the questionnaire that you've done. I will have done a draft treatment plan that we'll discuss and go through. Then after that, it really is a great opportunity for you to ask questions. And I work on the perspective that I want you to know as much as I can help you to know in that 90-minute space. I'm big on education. I don't, as much as I'd like for you to keep coming back to me, you know, saying hi, seeing the animals and everything, I essentially want to set you up with the skills that you need to make sure that you're giving your animals all the nutrients that they need in their diet so they can be healthy and happy and be with you for a really long time without, you know, severe medical or without medical intervention. So we do the consult, then you get a treatment plan, and then there is a follow-up consult as well, which is done online. And then the bonus gifts are you get either a canine or a feline recipe book, depending on who I'm seeing you for. But also, and this is where Bianca comes in, you also get an animal communication session. So the way that works, and I guess I should let Bianca tell you how that's going to work, that, you know, she's here. But, you know, you get that session in with that program as well. So Bianca, please tell us how that session works for those people who decide to purchase the Animal Wellness 2019 program.
So what I do is, well, basically Ruth let me know who is going to be part of the program. So she will send me a photo of your animal, and then with the questions that you have for your animal as well. So I will connect to your animal and find out exactly what it is that you would like to know, and more, because there's always more. And sometimes the things that we may want to know from them is not exactly what we need to hear. So there is a bit of a warning with that. With every communication process that I go through, there is always a warning. Be aware, you might hear things that you don't want to hear, because the animals know so much about us and they want us to take certain things on board. So it could happen that there might be some information there where you go, I actually don't want to hear any about, I don't want to go there, right? But we do need to go there. So I will send an email with the outcome of that conversation, as well as a care plan. So together with my care plan and then Ruth's treatment plan, you really set yourself up for success to do the right thing for your pet, which is really amazing. And it's a very, very powerful way to make sure that your animal is absolutely in the best wellness and health as they can be. You know, and in my mind, it's also their mental capacity as well, because mental health also affects our animals. So that's also a big part of that process. Yeah.
So I don't know about you, Bianca, but I love having you on board with these programs, because it just, like I said earlier, it just, the whole benefit of doing this is provides me with additional insight to really drill down into the specifics. It's brilliant. You know, we did one the other day, and it was just, I'm seeing that client in a few days. So to be able to, you know, have that as a tool is just brilliant. So yes.
Thank you for allowing me to be part of that. It's really amazing to contribute in that way as well. And, you know, I really love having these sort of collaborations and helping each other out in this way, and actually creating a much more holistic and beneficial program for people as well. Because it really sets us up for success to help our animals, so which is amazing.
That's right, and that's what we want. We want to get the results. We want them to be healthy, and we want them to be happy and you know, have the best life possible with their human companions.
Exactly.
So, Bianca, how can people get in touch with you? And please tell people about your new book.
Oh, thank you. So my website is biancadereus.com. And yeah, all the information is there. So that's probably the best way to get in touch, or send me a Facebook message as well. And I run one-to-one consultations with you. So the The consult that I have as part of the program is probably my Band-Aid solution. That's part of that. It's literally identifying what's happening right now with your animal and what can we do. Now, you guys are very privileged to have Ruth there to make sure that everything is happening and that you are implementing what is suggested through that session. However, the best way to work with me is longer term, similar to Ruth, because we really want to make sure that everything is implemented and that we have the longevity of the results coming through as well. You want to stay in that momentum. Now, as I said before, 9 out of 10 times, I also end up working with the humans around the animals. So it becomes a teamwork in that sense as well. So not only do I have the consultations, I also have a program that really aligns with, or really helps you to align with your animals and to really have a deeper connection with them. And if you wish, you can even learn animal communication as well. You can do that in your own time with my online course, or through the program as well. So I can build that program for you. And that's probably the best way for us to work together, so that everybody is on the same page and we have a much better relationship with everyone. Thank you for mentioning my book as well. It's literally just been published. That's it there. It's called Hello, Can You Hear Me? And it's out and about everywhere. So it's on Amazon, it's on Booktopia, it's on my website. So there's many avenues. It comes in this format, which is the hard copy, and it also comes in an ebook format as well. And next year, I'm also creating an audio format for the book as well. Because I've learned that a lot of people like to listen to books rather than read them. So that's happening too.
Great for when you're driving. That's what I do.
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Bianca. And the Animal Wellness Program is available until New Year's Eve. Yes, 31st of December.
Awesome.
So you can check that out at, I've got this handy tool here. I'm going to try and get it to work. This is so cool. Bear with me.
It's really strange because you see everything and I only see comments.
You can't.
And the people that are watching.
Now there for you on the
there you go.
screen. Yeah, nice, huh? And I will also put it in the comments. Make sure I spell it correctly. Check it out if you feel that that's something that's going to help your fur baby and you. By default, obviously, if our pets are healthy, that we're happy to, because it means that we don't have to worry about them as much as we would do anyway. So if you like the look of that program, you can purchase it on that website that I've given you the URL for. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you've got some codes to get a discount off that program. So if you haven't seen my newsletter about that, check your emails because it's there. There's a special code for you to use to get a discount on that program. And yes, it's only available till the end of the year, 31st December 2018. So, and for the people who have viewed, so I've got Raylene, Kathy, Kim, Trish, Claire, me. Woo! I'm in the thing. Not me. Those of you, if anyone else is there and you haven't said hello, I'm not going to know that you've viewed. So essentially the people who I've said there, you're going to be in the running to get a $100 gift voucher off this program. Do I need to say anything else about the program, Bianca? I'm not good at selling things.
You've mentioned everything. I'll be keen to learn who's going to win.
Yes, so find out more. We will be drawing that today. We'll probably do that right after we've ended the broadcast and let you know in the comments. So keep an eye out there. We'll tag you because we can do that on this thing, I believe. Brilliant. So if there are no questions from the audience, and remember, for those of you who didn't join live and you're watching this after the live stream, if you've got any questions, any comments, please add them to the comments section below. I will be monitoring that and making sure that all questions and comments are answered and responded to. And without any further ado, thank you again, Bianca. Thank you everyone for joining us live. It's so nice to have people live. And enjoy the rest of your holidays if you've still got holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye for now.